Hello World Wide Web, I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality of the best hair. And at least one of my monthly review specials is going to have more than one review this year. Dinocember continues. And today we're going to be looking at Tammy and the T-Rex, a dinosaur-themed horror comedy from 1994 starring Denise Richards as Tammy. There's also a T-Rex in this movie. I can't say they didn't give us exactly what they said was on the tin, but not only is this a horror comedy, it is a teen comedy, so naturally, everyone's in high school, as well as being in their mid-20s, early 30s. Tammy is your classic everyday high school girl with boy problems. Problems like the boy she has a crush on being horrifyingly murdered before he is brought back from the dead in the body of a mechanical Tyrannosaurus Rex! And honestly, that's before things go crazy. So, let's take a look at Tammy and the T-Rex and see just how insane it can get. Or rather, let's take a look at Tanny and the teenage T-Rex. Which was not a typo, believe it or not. Even though during the entire movie everyone's calling Denise Tammy very clearly. But this was originally put on VHS and they aimed for a PG-13 rating in the editing room, which involved cutting out a whole lot of profanity and a whole lot of gore. So they actually recently rediscovered the original print and put it on 4K Blu-ray for all of us to enjoy. So I guess I'm sorry if you're nostalgic for your movies being cut to ribbons. Either way, we are immediately introduced to our lead, Tammy, or Tanny. Well, Denise Richards. She's doing the classic high school cheerleader thing with a remarkably lax dress code when who should happen to show up but a young Brian O'Connor, Michael, played by Paul Walker, which, according to my research, passed away at a relatively young age. It's going to make the rest of the review nice and awkward, but we can't get past this without bringing up the music.
Dance to the music of the dinosaur!
You know the rule of late 80s, early 90s flicks, they all have a theme song, and this one is no exception. After Tammy is done cheer practice, her and Michael meet up with our living Katamari ball of stereotypes, Byron, played by Theo Forsett. He's the black friend with his African attire, and sassy gay personality to round it off.
You know, Tammy talks about you all the time. And I can say, girl, you didn't exaggerate one little bit.
And if YouTube's track record is anything to go by, it's not going to be the swearing, or the deaths, or the stereotypes that's going to get this review flagged. It's that dreaded LGBTQ themes. But he establishes he exists, and leaves the scene so he can get the plot proper moving.
I can't accept it.
Why not?
Because it's fucking yellow. Don't you know flower language? Yellow roses roughly translate to, I don't want to ruin our special friendship. As it turns out, Tammy already has a boyfriend, who she hates, but she's scared for Michael. Oh well.
You're crazy, you know that?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out why the hell he just ate that rose. Unless this is a really loose reference to Dick Miller's character from the original Little Shop of Horrors. But what's this? Tammy's boyfriend arrives immediately!
Oh no.
And I can't be the only one who thinks he bears a striking resemblance to YouTube poop legend CS188. This would be Billy, played by George Pilgrim. The gist is Tammy is his girl, most likely by declaration, and thus no one else can have her. So they fight, a high school tradition. But what's Billy to do when Michael doesn't crumple in but a few hits? Ah, the classic scrotum squeeze. Wait a minute. Well, one good grab of the gonads deserves another, as Michael grabs Billy by the balls. Such a contest of cock-crushing eventually gets the attention of the police. Norville and Neville, played by Buck Flower, and Ken Carpenter, respectively. They're our small-town hick police, and of course, just barely able to handle high schoolers.
What's the matter with you, boy? Ain't you got no balls? I got a cup on.
Oh, you should have been able to tell, Billy. You had plenty of hands-on time to figure it out. So he begins screaming that he's going to kill him! Which, of course, the police completely ignore. Oh well, Tammy runs screaming from them, and Byron is the only voice of hope Michael has that maybe one day they can be together. On that note, there's a dinosaur in this movie. We waste no time introducing our mad scientist, Dr. Wackenstein, played by Terry Kaiser. He's here with his mechanical T-Rex and his underlings. Helga, played by Ellen Dubin, Bobby, played by John Franklin, and Carl, played by John Edmondson. The good bad doctor has been hard at work with the key to immortality, granting sentience to robotic bodies. Why T-Rex? Well, that's what the filmmakers had access to for about 2 weeks, and they had to write a script around it. However, the computer that currently controls the carnivore is but a proof of concept, and Wackenstein wants to move on to the real deal.
I will give you everything. I will give you a brain. I will give you immortality.
No idea how he got brains to live forever, but when has a B-movie with a medical scientist ever given a damn about medical science? We still need to get the plot moving nonetheless, so Tammy knows just what to do. Ignore that scene earlier where she didn't want to return Michael's affections and just say, "Fuck it, come on down." That's all he needed to hear, and down there he goes.
Come over here. Climb up the trellis.
Ah, the convenient trellis that leads straight into the teenager's bedroom. Handy for horny love interests and slasher villains alike. But while this avoids the attention of her parents, Billy's side bitches spy this and report to the asshole-in-chief. Not sure they needed to see it clearly, considering Michael makes enough of a racket that Tammy's dad calls her up on the handy-dandy rotary phone from downstairs to make sure everything is all right.
Sorry, I knocked my dictionary over. I'm doing my homework up here.
And that is a pretty big dictionary. That explanation somehow works, but Tammy's mom and dad, played by Rosemary Gabaldon and Ken Chandler, do notice the giant mob of angry teenagers led by Billy that just showed up.
Oh, just call the police.
I'll handle this myself.
The only way he knows how. Badly. He just opens the door for them and looks surprised when they take the invitation and rush into his house, heading after Tammy and her boy toy, chasing Michael out of the house. They intend to kill him!
He's right there!
In the slowest fucking muscle cars I have ever seen. Michael runs all the way from the paved roads to the car's true home turf, the forest. This allows the bullies to easily catch up, clobber him, and posit a question.
What would you do if someone screwed your old lady and you had the power to do whatever you wanted to that fucker? Huh?
Well, first I'd have them transformed into an attractive bisexual woman, and then I'd... What exactly are the limits of this genie wish? Billy here seems to think that in this small town where everyone knows your name, it's easy peasy to get away with murder, which is exactly what he intends to do, locking Michael in the trunk and driving down to a handy-dandy animal sanctuary before finally letting him out.
So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let you go, asshole.
Oh, I see. It's not murder if he doesn't kill him himself. He just puts him in a situation where he's definitely... No, not that. We covered this in the Summer of Saw. That's still murder. But it's not the gruesome, horrifying, and disturbing murdered by a gang of bat-wielding bullies kind of murder, but the over-the-top, zany, and downright humorous, mauled to death by a lion kind of murder. However, this is very quickly found by the game warden, and Michael is rushed to the hospital at once.
Oh my God. What did he do to you?
Chased him down, beat him with a bat, stuffed him in the trunk, drove him down to the animal sanctuary, dumped him out on the dirt, and let him get mauled by a lion. After all that, I'd say he's looking pretty damn good. We also introduce another semi-important character, Uncle Bob, played by John F. Goff. He's Michael's only family, and an alcoholic. Enough of that, who should happen to show up but Billy? He swears he didn't have anything to do with Michael ending up in the hospital. So what, he chased him down screaming how he was gonna kill him. Tammy is his girl. Which a quick kick to the crotch solidifies, nope, not anymore she isn't. With that taken care of, next one to come in is Dr. Wackenstein. He's on the prowl for a dying man to swipe a brain, but, well, we only got 2 weeks with the dino, so we gotta film this scene soon.
Well, that's it. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I did all I could.
Marking down time of death like a goddamn speedrunner here. Hearing her beloved has perished, Tammy conveniently faints along with Byron. Quite the opposite of what's going on with Michael, who, despite being in a coma after that lion attack, comes to right there in the parking lot. Even the sedative they administer can't stop the kid from keeping the comedy going.
I was in Kansas and there's this tornado. And you were there?
I was, huh? Good.
And you were there?
Helga. That's good. That's good. Into the car.
With the divorce references, Michael, let us just say that has been done to death. Bobby starts having some doubts about this experiment. I mean, the guy already thinks there is no way this mushy flesh thing is going to be better than his computer at controlling the dinosaur, but also the rather rough handling it has had thus far will probably leave the brain traumatized or something.
Human brain is a lot more resilient than you can think, huh, Bobby? It can repair itself, reprogram itself. It's even capable of deceiving itself.
I'm entertaining. With that, he saws into Michael's cranium, spewing blood everywhere in the process.
Hey, you know what? No pain, no gain, you know? I mean, if you're going to make an omelet, you have to break a few eggs, right?
Did you come up with that just off the top of your head? Well, next time you should really put your mind into it. After revealing the gooey center, the good bad doctor goes about showing those present the amazing breakthrough that the brain does, in fact, control the body.
Watch this one, watch this. Watch. I like to fool around like that.
So you can cure erectile dysfunction with acupuncture. The point is, he's got the brain, and once properly installed into the Kool-Aid punch bowl, the dinosaur is alive. Or, well, the brain is alive, but it's powering the dinosaur. Well, it's controlling it, but it's powered by movie magic?
I will perform the final lobotomy in the morning when the brain has regained consciousness. Bobby, you and Carl, you clean up this mess and take the body back to the morgue.
And there is the major problem that he knows is the major problem, that being a kid's brain and dinosaurs probably not going to be the most cooperative thing, but I forgot the ice cream scoop. We'll do the lobotomy tomorrow. We won't have a movie otherwise. So the doctor just leaves the unfinished experiment alone with his incompetent henchmen and assumes that everything will go to plan. Obviously, the best this manages to do is get our goons some free pizza when the sentient saurian starts waking up a bit early. Despite the fact that it is clearly alert and moving around, though, Bobby, now all by his lonesome, decides the best course of action is to taunt the Robo-Dino, telling it all about how they're going to lobotomize it come morning, and generally all the reasons Michael needs to get this out of the way. The body count has started. Or rises? I don't know, Michael's technically still alive, but he did leave a body there. Seeing as he's having an out-of-body experience and an into brand spanking new Mecha T-Rex body experience, Michael can only roar in confusion, which gets the attention of Carl.
You're not supposed to be awake yet. You're not supposed to be moving.
You weren't supposed to kill Bobby. You're definitely not supposed to charge at me like that. Thus, Michael crushes Carl underfoot, and spotting a payphone, calls Tammy up to try and make sense of this.
Hi, this is Tammy. Leave me a message or I'll be mad at you.
Well, great, now she's gonna think she got a call from Billy. Oh well, life goes on and teenagers must party. However, Tammy isn't feeling it tonight. Not to worry, Michelle, played by Michelle Micah, consoles her.
Hi, Tammy. I'm so sorry about what happened. Such a terrible accident. Just the worst.
Now, Billy accidentally chased Michael out of your house, accidentally ran him down with a car, accidentally beat him with a baseball bat before accidentally stuffing him in the trunk, and then accidentally leaving him to be mauled by the lion. There's really nothing anyone could have done about any of that. Things go from awkward to annoying when Billy shows up as well. Maybe the kick to the dick didn't quite send the message home.
I just want to talk to you.
I don't want to see you for the rest of my life, ever.
Yo, that's just me fine, bitch.
Well, at least she's finally broken up with him, and all it took was him murdering her true love. So Tanny leaves the party while Billy sticks around to score. However, teenagers of all types are attracted to loud music, and Tanny's teenage T-Rex is on the prowl.
Who the fuck put this piece of shit here?
Which is pretty smartly written. It looks like an obvious mechanical puppet, so according to the script, that's exactly what it is, an obvious mechanical puppet. The only other movie I can think of that really leaned into the effects that much with the script was Bad CGI Sharks. Billy's wingman whips it out and whizzes all over the walking weapon, and in retaliation, the dino dropkick disembowels the dork. Now to move on to Billy.
I'm good, right? I'm good, right? I'm good, right? I'm good, right? Huh?
Sweet hell, take a hint. Something there is considerably less than comfortable. The saurian scooping up his screw scares the shit out of him and he scampers off to warn the others.
We need a gun out of here! Come on, somebody get a gun!
You gotta fix this, Billy. He's kidding around.
Nice try, Billy, but those gore effects are seriously not convincing. As the rampage continues, no one is safe. Except maybe...
Thank you.
Run, Byron, run!
Please don't kill me now.
showing us all that Michael really still is in there, and in control. And I guess he was just waiting for the opportunity to wake up one day as a dinosaur to murder half the school. And he's not stopping anytime soon, crushing more miscreants into meaty bits. By the time the police arrive, the damage has been done, and Sheriff Black, played by J.J. Saunders, finds the scene almost as disturbing as the explanation.
It was a dinosaur.
A what?
A dinosaur.
She's telling the truth, Pop.
Also, he's Byron's father. Don't think for a second that actually means he's going to believe the kids, though. It's probably just some elaborate prank. With a body count. Just like all the best pranks.
Were people doing drugs at this party, Byron?
The kind of drugs that cause people's heads to be ripped off, cars to be trampled, and dinosaur footprints to be everywhere, but not an actual dinosaur rampaging around causing any of that, because that'd just be crazy. So the police are unconvinced, while the mad doctor is mad with power! This is great! It's proof that his mechanical body with a human brain works! Also, he doesn't have to pay Bobby or Carl that overtime anymore. Michael, on the other hand, is still trying to get in contact with Tammy. Damn, you know they're in California when their only response to that is another earthquake.
Did you hear that?
What?
Oh, it's just a blood-curdling scream of your daughter. Nothing to be concerned about after your house has been broken into and there has been a glut of teenage murder going on. As it turns out, Michael has kidnapped Tammy. But in a good way. He needs them to be all alone to tell her what the situation is.
What do you want?
Ah, you did that too early, Mike. You can't open with that. That would have been a great breakthrough scene. But you started with it, and we still need the scene of her being confused. As such, that leads nowhere, and Michael has to resort to charades to try and get across that his brain is, in fact, inside this mechanical T-Rex.
Is that really you in there? Michael?
Some don't think so. There's this whole theory that because we saw Michael's brain controlling the T-Rex from outside the body, it never was actually installed in the body and it's controlling it remotely through telepathy or something, and that all these scenes where they're talking about it being in the body are just goofs. Disregarding the fact that completely breaks the movie because there would be no reason for Dr. Wackenstein to track down the T-Rex to lobotomize the brain when he could just head back and lobotomize the brain that's apparently sitting right on his office desk. As the man is hard at work trying to find where his dinosaurs run off to and keeping tabs on Tammy, he knows she is the key to finding it.
She's already been with him.
How do you know that?
I can tell by the way she's walking.
That and the distinct smell of latex and poor life choices. Once Tammy and Byron swap stories, they come to an understanding very quickly that if they intend to get Michael back, they're gonna have to get his body back. Not to worry, he's having a funeral, and after everyone leaves, they can just gank the corpse out of the coffin.
Watch out for the worms.
Would you relax?
But there's a slight problem that it has been several days, and it looks like they forgot the formaldehyde, and just left him out back on the compost heap or something. Also, the good bad doctor shows up demanding his dinosaur back. No bother, just kidnap the bad guy, and you can get him to put Michael's brain into a new body. Probably should have thought of that part of the plan earlier. So, new plan, they need a body, but Michael's old one is outside of warranty. Therefore, to the morgue.
No way.
Oh, he's perfect.
Not to me, isn't.
Well, sorry, Tammy, but I can't exactly leave it half inflated. Unfortunately, none of the cadavers really jump out at them, and they take so long, Dr. Wackenstein escapes, so they must run, which results in a high-speed chase, with the police call for backup.
A couple of folks back at the hospital, they say he stole it.
Stole what?
The dinosaur.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I knew I should have taken that role on Junior. A pregnant Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't nearly this weird. The chase continues, but eventually Byron runs interference, allowing Tammy the chance to escape. Okay, I understand you only had the T-Rex for about 2 weeks, but you could have taken your time with the other effects. Of course, this does mean they don't have that spare body, and there's not really anywhere else for this movie to go, so, hey, Tanny told Byron about that farm Michael brought her to before, so he tracked her down. And the police followed him, meaning there is the final confrontation. It's obvious that Dr. Walkenstein is lying through his teeth here, and Byron is the sheriff's son, and the T-Rex is convincingly sentient. Fuck it, let's just shoot the damn thing about 700 times and end the movie already.
Michael, can you hear me? Michael, I love you so much. No!
Well, it was never going to work out, Tammy. Even if you did find Michael a new body, he killed like 15 teenagers back at the party. He's going to be serving several life sentences. But what's this? Suddenly we shift a little later, and Tammy is happy and chipper. That's because Michael's not dead, and she has his brain hooked up in her bedroom, just for the time being, until they can get him a proper body. Until then.
We're getting close. I want you. I need you.
The movie ends on a Denise Richards striptease. Wow, that was a... Anyway, that was Tammy and the T-Rex. Wow. That last minute and a half almost felt like a different genre, but nevertheless, Tammy and the T-Rex is a horror comedy, where it's a comedy first and horror second. As such, the movie relies far more on its humor than its fright factor, as opposed to horror comedies like Stitches that have plenty of comedy, but do try to be legitimately scary when they can. Tammy and the T-Rex is back-to-back joke after joke, and while not all of them hit, there are enough where you should at least get a chuckle every now and then, and while some of the humor is dated, that could be seen in a nostalgic light in this day and age. Hard negatives on the movie have to do with the plot, which I know is likely not what you really care about here anyway, but you can tell this movie was made without spending too much time trying to figure out how things will lead into each other for any sort of payoff. There's a setup that works as an excuse to get a T-Rex rampaging around town, and then the movie just kind of ends. I mean, there's an attempt at getting the major players together for some form of climax, but even that really doesn't lead to the ending, as it were. Nevertheless, Tammy and the T-Rex is still a very entertaining way to spend 90 minutes, coming in at 3 ravenous, rampaging robots out of 5. Could have been better, could have been worse, but either way, this review should have been finished weeks ago. Thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shado, and remember, dogs are a lot of work. And here's to a productive 2021.
He's like a shadow. He's like a shadow. He's like a shadow. The internet personality with the best hair. He's like a shadow. He's like a shadow. He's like a shadow. The internet personality with the best hair.
But we must remember that he is going to a far, 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 far better place. Helga, take him to the morgue.